Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Tom from UDS with another edition of UDS Interviews, our series where we chat to interesting people from around the world. And my guests this week are one of the most exciting up-and-coming bands in the scene today, injecting their own brand of youthful, angry protest punk into a world that, frankly, desperately needs it. And they're here to talk all about their brand new single today. It is my pleasure to introduce the band of the hour, Too Sweet to Be Sour, Noah and the Loners. Guys, how's it going?
Good, thank you. Good. Yes. Happy to be here.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. The pleasure is all mine. And naturally, we're going to talk about music in just a bit. But before we get to that point, I want to get to know the real you. So this is a question for both of you individually, and it's probably the most hard-hitting question you'll get asked today. And that is, if you were a type of sandwich, what kind of sandwich would you say best represents you as a person?
Oh, okay. I'm going to go with chicken and stuffing on white bread because I'm a little bit bland. Like, I got the basics with like the chicken and a white bread, but then also like the stuffing adds a bit of flavour, a little bit of like pizzazz, I think that's probably it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's decent, mate.
I'd go for a vegan BLT because you gotta choose a vegan option, obviously, and BLTs have a bit of everything, like the flavour is just all round.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing where it's a lot of things that maybe on the surface don't go together, but when it all comes together, it just comes together. So yeah.
Exactly.
They are two solid choices, two absolute meal deal staples. So I think we're going to get on. But as much as I could talk about sandwiches all day and have in the past, we are here to talk all about music. And your brand new single, Processed Anger, has been out for about a week or so at the time of recording, give or take.
About 5 days, I think.
Yep. So by the time this goes out, it probably will be a nice round week. So for the people who may have been unfortunate enough not to hear it yet, could you just tell us a little bit about the song?
So it's about the anger we felt at the right to protest being taken away from us by the police crime and sentencing bill. It's something that we've both been to protests about. So like Kill the Bill protests and all of that in London. And it's something we feel very passionately about. I think it's kind of just a big F you to the government, really, in the way that they've handled the whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, I could not agree more, and that's the thing is that obviously, as you can probably tell, we do like to have a joke and a laugh here and everything, but obviously this is a song which has got a really important message and has come from some pretty fucking shitty events that have inspired it, and punk has always had that that anti-establishment protest ethos spirit to it. And I was going to ask you guys, as people who are in the scene, who are, active in this, how important do you think that is, given how, fucked up everything is in modern times?
It's so important, especially I think for the generation upcoming to be so aware of this stuff, because we're the ones who is going to be able to help it and fix it. And if we're not aware of that, then it's just not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think like with our generation, we are so hyper aware of what is going on in the world because of social media and like the situations that we are put in. So I think like being able to speak out about it is the most important thing that anyone can do. Like reposting something on social media is all well and good, but unless you're actively trying to change something, nothing is ever going to happen,
Absolutely. And I suppose, it's something like punk is something that can make a whisper into a scream, because it's all, as you say, it's all well and good, either, lecturing or just reposting something, but if it's something that has that element of entertainment to it, it's so much more engaging, and like it helps to build a movement. And there have been movements built around music, so I completely agree. And are you sort of seeing that, being as part of the scene, do you feel like there is that anger of sort of inspiring your contemporaries and yourselves to push forward with this message?
100%. I think like recently there's been such a spike in new upcoming punk bands, especially in the scene that we're in Brighton. Like there's so many new bands who have something to say and who are saying it loudly, which is great. I don't think there's ever been a richer time in the 21st century where like punk has been at its peak, like with bands like Idols, Witch Fever, Nova Twins, like loads of people coming through who are like fucking shouting about really important stuff. I think we're in a very lucky position, really.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of like, it's sort of perversely happy, but also like, a sign of the times that, go back in time to sort of, the Thatcher years, and there was an incredible punk scene there. And it always seems to be that oppression and that, the awful situation that breeds a really fucking good music scene. So I suppose you have to take the rough with the smooth, but yeah, it's definitely, brought about some great tunes from you. And in that regard, obviously the year is still young. Is there more music on the horizon, or even an album, dare we say?
Yes, we have lots of new stuff that we are working on, which is very exciting. Yeah, and we're sort of on the way to an EP at the moment.
Yeah, thinking maybe 6 or 7 tracks on the EP. We've got one that's very, very short, so yeah, I'm not really sure if it particularly counts as a track. It's like 1 minute, like maybe even sub 1 minute. So like I reckon fine. 7 tracks the way to go. But yeah, we've recorded one more song which is like pretty much ready to go. We've just got to get it finished, like mastered, and then obviously all the press and that malarkey. But we've got all the material ready. It's just about actually making it happen. So yeah, I think EP probably around October, November time, and then a couple singles before that.
Nice. And I guess in the meantime, you're not exactly resting on your laurels, because you've got some pretty exciting tour dates coming up, including South by Southwest in Texas. So you must be stoked about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, me and Amber have been playing music together since we were 12, and I don't think at any point either of us thought that we were going to be like going to America and playing South by.
Never.
It's nuts.
No. Never would I have thought.
So how did it come about? Was it just sort of, was it something you had to apply for? Was it like a phone call and you're like, yeah, this opportunity's come up. Do you want to take it? Like, how did it come about?
So like our manager has a stage at South by, and he'd always kind of spoken about us going. And then when this band formed, me and Emma were in a band before called Polarized Eyes, and we were thinking about going then, but it just didn't really work out with like what we were doing with school and stuff, because we were doing A-levels at the time. So
don't rub it in.
Yeah, that didn't happen. So then this year it just felt right, and it fit in with what we wanted to do as a band and the direction we were going.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think it just kind of happened from there, and then got Marshall to help out, and we're on one of their like stages there now, which is great. And we're doing New Colossus as well in New York, so that should be very fun.
Insane. So at South by, are there any other artists that you're either hoping to see or meet while you're out there?
100%.
So many. There's so many. Okay, my top one would be Noisy. Absolutely adore Noisy. They're so good.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'm very excited to see Panic Shack again.
Yeah.
Would love to meet them. They're playing a Marshall stage that we have backstage for, so
hopefully
I'm gonna drive in there. Like try and make some connections. But New Order are playing as well, which is nuts. Really want to go and see them. Dream Wife are out there, who we supported late last year, and they were incredible live. So yeah, I think there's a lot of upcoming bands that will be great to see.
Yeah.
It's going to be like as much about us seeing other people as it is playing ourselves.
Definitely,
I think.
100%. You got to, you got to drink it in, and as you say, you just never know sort of where those connections can take you and everything. So I'm sure it's going to be incredible. But I will have to say, it would be remiss of me not to mention that you are also playing beautiful Wrexham, up the Wrexham. So yeah, it's
Focus Wales, come on.
international tours. Wales still counts.
Yeah,
but anyway. It certainly does. It certainly does. So here at UDS, we don't just talk about music. We talk about the breadth of pop culture. Anything that we find interesting, we tend to have a chat about it. So with that in mind, if you could have one of your songs featured in anything, whether it be a movie, a TV show, a video game, nothing's off the table, what would be your dream thing to feature one of your songs in?
I've got a really funny response. I don't know why. Okay, this is so chaotic and it just wouldn't work. I just feel like if Protest Anger was in like a breakup scene on Love Island, it would be hilarious.
That would be so funny.
Like the talk to me type would leave it and like a breakup scene on Love Island. That would be class. It will never happen.
No.
But it would so be funny. I don't know.
Gosh. That's
what
hard.
else? What has a really good soundtrack?
I mean,
the James Bond movies.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Do a James Bond.
James Bond. Yeah,
that would be
sick.
There's not been a proper punk song like as the theme for James Bond, which is weird because it's sort of it's a ubiquitously like a quintessential British character, and punk is by and large, there is a whole sort of British identity of punk. So it kind of makes sense. I wonder whether or not if they got someone who was a bit of a younger Bond, whether or not that would work. But yeah, for sure. Honestly, when I first sort of started listening to you guys, I asked this question to a lot of people. I was not expecting Love Island and James Bond to be the answers of everything.
I just think it would be hilarious with Love Island, especially. It would be so funny.
That I want to see that now. I don't even watch Love Island, but I'd watch it if that happened. That's for sure.
To be honest, this season is not it.
Farmer Will though.
Yeah, Farmer Will's been funny, but I just really feel like it would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Someone at work has been talking about fancying a farmer, so maybe that's what that was to do about. But
it probably is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird though. He does look like a sheep himself. Like he's got quite sheep features. I don't know.
Maybe if you work with them long enough, you just start looking like them. These people say they start looking like their pets. So maybe if you work with sheep, you just start looking like sheep. So, wow, that was a tangent. Anyway, so I don't know when the right cutoff point is to say, like we're way past the Happy New Year stage. But when do you sort of start saying like, what are you guys up to in 2023? But I'm still going to ask that. So, what have you guys got planned for the rest of 2023?
I mean, gigs, to be honest, like just play as much as possible
and hopefully record as much as possible as well.
Release some new stuff. I think like we're really pushing to do the EP this year because all of us, like we've got so much material now that it's a bit ridiculous. Like we've got about a 45-minute set full of songs plus some extras now. So like, and they're not like long songs either. So that's like about 17 like 17 songs ready to go. So release the EP.
Festivals. Very excited for festivals.
I mean we've got a couple lined up now. We've got Great Escape, Focus Wales and Outsider. Hopefully gonna get Liverpool Sound City, fingers crossed. And then maybe a couple more like in proper summer because most of those are in May, but we will see.
Pretty quiet there, not a lot. Awesome. Well, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, but I have one last question to ask you, and it's frankly about as serious as some of the other questions I asked you, and that is, we are UDS, which stands for Upside Down Shark, and don't ask me why we settled on that name. It was thought up many years ago, and we're in way too deep to change it now. But be that as it may, guys, what are your favorite sharks? And they can be real, they can be fictional, they can be I feel like this is a thing.
I can't believe this is asked this question. Sharks are my favorite animals. They've been my favorite animals for years and years. I have a shark tattoo on my arm.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite shark?
Whale sharks all the way. I love them. Or tiger sharks.
Why?
Oh, whale sharks, because they're so deceiving. They're the biggest sharks, but they're also the friendliest sharks. Like, you go up to them and pet them, and they're so cute, but they're huge. Yeah.
Mine's a hammerhead just because they look stupid.
Hey, yeah, I love a hammerhead because they double up as a tool as well. So 2 for 1. But I always, as a kid, I was always terrified of basking sharks because although they're gentle and everything, they're the ones that can open up their mouths and you can see like the skeleton on the inside, and that used to absolutely freak the fuck out of me as a kid. So I'm glad someone's picked one of the bigger lads, because they are, they need some love too. Like, everyone says Jaws, everyone says the great white and everything, but we love a gentle shark. We love a gentle
basic
shark.
answer.
Very basic answer.
That was in sync.
Honestly,
mine's definitely a hammerhead, just because they just look stupid and silly, and they're kind of cute. And when they smile, and it's just really sweet. Like, they just look really cute. I don't know.
Honestly, they are two of the probably the most well-reasoned explanations of favorite sharks ever, because most people just like default to something really stupid. So I'm glad you've actually given the time to think it through and give a very well-reasoned answer. So thank you. I do have one last question. It's not as interesting as that one, but until people can catch you on the road, at a festival, at a show, or wherever you might be, where can people find you online?
So we're all over socials. We're on Instagram, TikTok are our kind of 2 main things. We've got a live session thing that is coming out within the next week or so, I think, with Hot Vox, that we recorded at the Cargo Rooms in London recently. So yeah, that will be out on YouTube, on our YouTube channel and on their YouTube channel. So yeah, check that out if you get a chance, and give us a follow on every other social, because we are there.
Well, that is your homework. I'll put a link to everything down in the description, so you can check it out. But there's left for me to say is, Noah, Amber, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you today.
Thank you so much for having us. Really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Cheers. Bye.